When a woman's tears become angels' wrath, true story inspired by Hazrat Ali. May Allah be pleased with him. Imagine a man so cruel that every day he inflicted pain on someone weaker, thinking he would never face consequences. But when a woman cries silently for justice, those tears are not powerless. The angels themselves rise, and with every step he takes, divine curses follow. Today, you will witness a story of unimaginable oppression, heart-wrenching sorrow, and the unstoppable power of Allah's justice. The sun had barely risen over the ancient city, casting long shadows across the dusty streets, when Amina stepped out of her small home. Her eyes, red from tears that had not ceased the night before, reflected a quiet strength that few could understand. She walked with careful steps, carrying the weight of years of silent suffering. Each morning, she tried to put on a brave face, hoping that today would be different, that somehow Allah would ease her burden. But the oppression she faced was relentless. Her husband, a man named Rafiq, was cruel and unrelenting. He believed that strength was measured in dominance and fear, and he saw her as nothing more than an object to control. For years, Amina had endured the harshness of his words, the sharp sting of his rebukes, and the emptiness of a heart that did not know compassion. Her parents, distant and unaware, thought she had married well, but the truth was far from their imagination. In her quiet moments, she would weep alone, whispering prayers to Allah, asking for patience and guidance. "O Allah, if you are near, if your justice exists, then ease my heart. Protect me from his cruelty. Guide him to the path of righteousness, or protect me from his oppression." Rafiq, on the other hand, believed he could bend her spirit. He mocked her prayers, laughed at her attempts to seek comfort in faith, and pushed her to the edge of despair. But what he did not realize was that every tear she shed was not unnoticed. Each tear was a plea to Allah, a silent cry for justice, and every plea of the oppressed reaches the heavens. One evening, after a particularly harsh day, Amina retreated to her small room, sat by the window, and let the tears fall freely. The moonlight kissed her face as she whispered the words of the heartbroken. "O Allah, I have no one but you. Do not let him continue to harm me. You are the most just, the most merciful. If I perish in this world, grant me dignity in the next. But if there is justice to be served, let it come from your hand." As she cried, something in her heart shifted. The sorrow, though deep, began to carry a quiet strength. It was as if the angels themselves hovered near, listening intently to her words, recording every drop of suffering. And on that night, an unseen decree began to unfold. The next morning, Rafiq left for his work, unaware that the universe was quietly conspiring against the arrogance in his soul. Small, inexplicable misfortunes began to shadow his steps. His car would not start at crucial moments. Minor accidents occurred in the streets he walked daily. People he relied on for favors began to fall ill or withdraw their support. Every step he took seemed to meet subtle resistance, like the world itself had become a silent witness to the oppression he had inflicted. He grew frustrated and paranoid, unaware that these were the whispers of divine justice, orchestrated by Allah in response to the tears of the oppressed. At home, Amina noticed small changes as well. Her spirit, once crushed, began to lift. She felt lighter, freer, as if Allah's mercy was slowly enfolding her. She did not yet understand the depth of what was unfolding, but her heart, buoyed by faith, felt an unusual peace. Days turned into weeks, and Rafiq's arrogance began to crumble. At work, he faced unexpected emotions. His colleagues who once feared him now distanced themselves. Financial losses hit him unpredictably. Each setback mirrored a subtle, divine orchestration that he could not comprehend. People started whispering about his misfortunes, and a creeping fear replaced the confidence that once blinded him. The universe itself seemed aligned against him, and yet he remained unaware of the cause. One afternoon, Rafiq confronted Amina in a fit of anger, thinking he could regain control over his life and her submission. "You think you are stronger than me?" he hissed. But Amina, calm and composed, looked him in the eyes and said softly, "No, Rafiq, I'm not stronger. But Allah is, and the justice of the oppressed cannot be ignored." Her words struck a chord he did not understand, filling him with an unease that lingered in the depths of his soul. That night, Rafiq's dreams were restless. In the darkness, he saw visions of judgment, of a world where cruelty had consequences, where every tear he caused followed him like an unrelenting shadow. He awoke in cold sweat, the weight of unseen eyes pressing on his conscience. For the first time, fear touched his heart, not the fear of man, but the fear of divine justice. Meanwhile, Amina's faith blossomed. She continued her prayers with renewed vigor, never boasting, never seeking vengeance herself. Her trust in Allah was absolute. The angels, ever vigilant, recorded her unwavering patience and the sincerity of her suffering. And slowly, the chain of events that had begun in the unseen realm manifested fully in the world of the living. Rafiq's health began to fail inexplicably, and relationships that once protected him crumbled one by one. Business partners withdrew, friends betrayed, and even those who were once loyal turned away. Every step he took carried the weight of the curse invoked by Amina's tears. In the town, people began to notice the strange series of events surrounding Rafiq. Whispers spread that no harm could touch Amina, that even misfortunes seemed to avoid her, while Rafiq's arrogance led him into a spiral of ruin. Some called it divine justice. Others called it coincidence. But those who knew the truth, the quiet, suffering witness of Amina, understood that justice, slow but inevitable, was at work. Months passed, and Rafiq, now a shadow of the man he once was, confronted the reality he had ignored for so long. One night, he fell to his knees in his empty home, haunted by the weight of his failures and the unrelenting misfortunes that surrounded him. He whispered in the dark, "O Allah, forgive me, guide me, have mercy on me." His heart, hardened by arrogance, began to soften, realizing that the cruelty he had inflicted could not escape the notice of the most just. Amina, unaware of the exact nature of his repentance, continued her quiet life. She never gloated, never sought revenge. Her faith and patience had been her shields, her prayers the unseen force that ensured justice. And slowly, the town saw a transformation, not only in Rafiq, but in the way people understood the power of mercy, patience, and divine justice. Rafiq, now humbled, dedicated himself to correcting his wrongs, seeking forgiveness from those he had hurt, starting with Amina. Those scars of the past remained. The oppression that once defined his household had vanished, replaced by the profound understanding that no cruelty can escape Allah's notice, and no tears of the oppressed go unheard. And so, Amina's story became a quiet legend in her town. People whispered her name not only for the endurance she displayed, but for the truth she embodied, that faith, patience, and the sincere pleas of the oppressed are forces more powerful than any tyrant's strength. Every tear she shed had called forth angels. Every prayer she whispered had been a plea for justice, and every moment of her suffering had been transformed into a testament of divine power. The moral was clear: oppression never goes unnoticed. Every act of cruelty has consequences, and every tear of the oppressed carries the weight of divine justice. Amina's journey from despair to peace was a reminder to all who heard her story that no one escapes the watchful eyes of Allah, and that mercy and justice prevail, even when human eyes cannot see. If this story touched your heart and reminded you of Allah's mercy and justice, share it with your family and friends. Reflect on the power of standing against oppression and seeking justice through faith. Don't forget to subscribe and click the bell icon for more emotional, heart-touching Islamic stories that will inspire your soul every week. Your faith can grow, and your heart can find peace in every story we share.